Good afternoon. Thank you. It is Tuesday, 2/22/22. I'm going to go over the Spiral Review 20 for Block 2. And I'm going to first put my name on it. And then I'm going to put that it's due Friday, which is February 26th. And we're going to provide the same incentive for turning it in early this week. If you turn it in on Wednesday, you'll get 3 armor tickets. If you turn it in on Thursday, you'll get 2 armor tickets. If you turn it in and it has 100% already, then you'll get an extra armor ticket. Or when you correct it and turn it back in on Friday, if you have made the corrections, you will get an extra armor ticket. So you could earn up to 4 armor tickets on your spiral. Yes.
Can you try to correct it and still get it on the 7 ticket?
I'll have to decide if you gave it good effort. Plus, you know you can ask Mrs. Amspaugh or myself for help every day during RTI. Okay? Sometimes people even ask for help when they're at the field trip, right, Haley? Yeah, what's up?
Would I get an extra ticket because I got it right last week?
When I go back and regrade it, yes. Okay, so let's look here at the directions. You should have a highlighter and something to write with. The first, on the left in the number sense column, it is asking you to round to the underlying place value. Those are always a tad tricky when we're dealing with all those 9s. Okay, then it says name the place value of the underlying digit and note that that is a decimal. And you need to remember to add an S to the end of the place and the word place. You can just go ahead and write that in if you want. We're going to name the value of the underlying digit. This should be written as a number. This is a number, not a word. You should be writing down what I'm writing. Write the number in word form. It says include hyphens and commas when needed. There is a decimal point there. What does the decimal point say? And. Thank you, Henry. Okay, solve for y if x is equal to 7. So we're going to do what's in parentheses first. Okay. Solve the following problem. You cannot use the standard algorithm to name partial products. So you will need to use a method of partial products. I think most of you in here are using the 2-story box like this because you have to name the partial products. And there are 4 correct partial products. Do you have a question?
Yeah. Is it okay if you do it the other way or you just...
Do what way? Are you using parentheses like the distributive property?
I just do normal...
You can't do the standard algorithm and get partial products. It has to be a different way. And the reason we practice this is because on iLearn, they will ask you to name the partial products. That is why we spent time reviewing those strategies. Then when it says name the products, that's the whole product together when you add them together. Okay, over here on the right side, we have addition. Okay, you're going to want to add 0.00 to that second addend. Okay, here we're subtracting, and let's just go ahead and draw our box here so that we remember that you have to add back to check. Again, you're probably going to want to add decimal point 00 to the first addend, and then line up your decimal points. I'm sorry, that's not an addend. What is that? The first number in our subtraction problem. What's it called?
Subtrahend.
No.
Menuend.
Menuend. Menuend, subtrahend, difference. Okay? Here we have a multiplication problem. We said, remember that you can solve this as if you are doing 692 times 23 and then go back and put in that decimal point. If we have money, where should the decimal point go? Where would the decimal point go? How many places to the right of the decimal are there in money? How many places to the right of the decimal point are there when we have money? Avi? 2. Okay. Okay. Round your answer to the nearest cent. So you need to do, it says make the division house. Divide by 7. And then you're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay? In the directions it's saying you need to add a 0 to your dividend. Do you see that? Hi.
You have farmer tickets?
I do. There's
You have a pack of them.
a whole slew of them in that bottom right drawer behind me. That's that little green drawer. No, sorry. It's up here way,
Oh, over here?
yeah, them.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So that looks like a tricky one. So you're going to bring your decimal point straight up on that. Okay, that's where your decimal point's going to be in your answer. That's a hard one. Okay. Turning that over. Equivalent fractions. Generate one equivalent fraction for each. Okay, so we need to multiply or divide, but you need to show what you're multiplying by here and what you're dividing by here. It has to be the same number. Multiply by the same number, divide by the same number. Okay? Decimals and fractions. Convert between decimals and fractions. 3/4. Do we know the decimal for 3/4? What's the decimal for 1/4? What is the decimal for 1/4? Lane?
25.
25 hundredths. Think about quarters. So what would be the decimal for 2/4? Think about quarters. 2 quarters, or how much money is that?
75,
2 quarters. How much money is that?
30,
2 quarters. How much is 1 quarter?
50,
How much is 1 quarter?
25,
2 quarters is 50. How do we write that as a decimal? 0.50. So then 3/4 is the same as 3/4. Fourth and quarter are synonyms. Okay, so how much is 3/4? Dane?
3/4,
Okay, I would just appreciate serious inquiries only. Okay, Marin.
175.
Yep, and I'll just go ahead and give you that one. Okay? You should know that 1/4, a lot of times people will say a quarter, and they mean a fourth. It's a quarter after 5. It's a fourth of an hour after 5 o'clock. I need 3 1/4 inches. They mean 3 1/4 inches. But a quarter is 0.25. So every time you hear quarter, you're adding 0.25, unless it's time. Because what's a quarter of an hour? A fourth of an hour is not 25 minutes. What is it? How many minutes? 15. Okay, how do you say this as a decimal? How do you say that? How do we say that as a decimal? Landon.
7,500.
No, this one.
Um,
0.53. How do I say that as a decimal?
5,300.
53 hundredths. You need to write that as a fraction. 53 hundredths. You should know how to write that as a fraction. Okay, and then this one, how do I say that as a mixed number? 8 7/10. And then you need to write that as a decimal. You know how to write 8 7/10 as a decimal. Okay? Okay. Here's our hint for our conversions. Looking in our planner at page 107, showing your work for the conversion. Listing the factors for 18 and the multiples for 6. Okay, and then here, the area of this shape. Okay, we have to divide it into a triangle and a rectangle. We've been doing this for a while. The area of the triangle is 1/2 of the base times the height. Remember, you can either cut the base in half, the height in half, or you can multiply and then cut that in half. Okay, draw line AB parallel to line segment CD. Use arrows, points, and letters where needed. It doesn't say use a ruler, but you will miss the point if you do not use a ruler. Use a ruler.
Can we do a straight edge?
Uh-huh. Name the shaded part of the circle and then generate 2 more fractions that are equivalent. Okay, the table shows the price of a large pizza at 4 different pizza places. Little Caesars, Domino's, Pizza King, and Chicago's. How much more would I pay for 3 large pizzas at Chicago's than 3 large pizzas at Domino's? I would pay blank more money for the Chicago's. I want to pay the least amount of money for 3 large pizzas. Decide if Chicago's or Domino's has the better deal. If I tipped the pizza delivery driver $5.50, how much change would I receive from $40? So you need to compare Chicago's and Domino's. Okay, and you want to pay the least amount. You want to tip $5.50. You give the person $40. How much change? Okay, Cordelia, I need you to sit down because I'm getting ready to go over something very important. Show work on another sheet of paper stapled to this one. If you have all of your work crammed in here, I am not going to grade it. And when I say another piece of paper, I don't mean a little Post-it note. I don't mean like a little index card. Just get a piece of lined paper like this and do your work on this piece of paper and then staple it. I do not want to try to read little tiny scribbled work. Do it on a clean sheet of paper. Okay, math class is the one class where I will tell you we do not need to worry about conserving paper. Okay? Okay, I'm ready to give out some freebies. Depending on which ones, I will give you between 3 and 4 freebies, depending on which ones you ask for. Abby. This one? Okay, so this one is really tricky. So we're just going to divide as if there's not a decimal. Okay, so how many times can 7 go into 21? 3 times, but that's really here in this place value, so we're going to say 3,000. We're just going to do 3,000 instead of 3.000, and we're going to subtract 21. We can go ahead and carry our decimal point down, but I just want us to be, we can make that a decimal if we want. I just want us to think, I don't want the decimal to trip us up. I want us to think about it like 3,000, so if we can put a period there. Okay, and then when we subtract, that leaves us with 0.580 or 580 thousandths. How many times can 7 go into 58 without going over? 8 times. But it's really going to be decimal point 8. Okay? Actually, I'm sorry, it's going to be decimal point 08 because it wasn't, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We didn't really go into 5 here, right? We really went into 58. So you have to come over to this place value column. It's 0.08. And now you have 20 left. How many times can 7 go into that 20? 2 times, but it's really 0.002 because we're all the way over to this 0, which is in the thousandths place. Okay, what is 7 times 2? 14. So subtract out your 14. 20 minus 14 is 6. So far we have 3.082. Now we don't have to continue to divide. You can keep adding zeros and see if you can keep dividing. But because we're rounding our quotient to the nearest hundredth, we can stop. So what will that round to? Will it be $3.08 or $3.09? Riley? $3.08. Now, I just want to show you how you can think about that. Think about it. 3 times 7 is $21, right? See that? $21. And then 7 times 8 cents would be 56 cents, right? And we had 2, and then we had the 2 going over here in the thousandths place. But that's pretty close, right, to 21.58. If we did 308 times 7, we would get 21.56, okay? Does that make sense? I know that's confusing and that's hard, but that's $3.08. That's your answer there. Yes. Okay, that's a tough one. I'm glad you asked for that freebie. Okay, give me another one. Go ahead, please. Olive.
The one that
This one? Solve for y. So y equals 7 plus 4. I'm sorry, that's not what it says. Y divided by 7 plus 4 equals 3. What's 7 plus 4? 11. So y divided by 11 equals 3. What would y be? 33. You can work backwards. 3 times 11 is 33. 33 divided by 11 is 3. Okay, I'll take another one. Carter Thompson.
second equivalent fractions.
This one? 12/15. Okay, so we have to divide. So let's list our factors for 12. What are my factors for 12? 1 and 12. What else? 3 and 4. And there's another factor pair. What is it? 2 and 6. Okay, what are my factors for 15? 1 and 15. 3 and 5. What is the greatest one that they have in common? The biggest one that they have in common? 3. So now we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is?
4.
15 divided by 3 is? 5. 4/5. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4 freebies. Okay, if you need other help, come see me during RTI. Turn it in early for a pre-check.
Can we go back to the one we just did?
Put that in your VIP folder, please.